Moving into our final sort of area as we start to think about companies using integration platforms are seeing higher AI workflow autonomy. The TLDR on the MIT report, not on visibly on this screen, but the 90% of successful AI deployments share one thing in common, and they use an integration platform. I think that just spotlights a lot of amplifies the rest of the data here in terms of executives using iPaaS, not only for autonomous, but also how they think about it in the next 12 to 18 months. And with that, I'm curious, from your perspective, Isidro, maybe I'll turn it over to you. What are you seeing as far as the big aha moments, as you think about you're responsible for evaluating a lot of platforms, right? When it comes to your customers, what are the non-negotiables you look for when you're making a recommendation across an integration platform?
Yeah, definitely. And I want to make a little parenthesis here. It's very interesting that most of our customers that have approached us in order to enable them with AI, their requests come from financial people, not even from IT, which is kind of interesting. I mean, because you will like to say that IT will drive the conversations, will drive the projects. It's not happening. It's happening the other way around. It's more the operations or the financial teams, which is great. In here, for example, one of the things that I always tell our customers, and even non-customers, what are the things that we look for is security and governance, for sure. That's one of the top priorities. You would like to have connectivity because, again, and as we were looking at the poll results, you will connect more than 3 to 5 or even more systems. So you will like your AI strategy to work for all of it, for all of the information, so that you can have a clear picture of all of your business. So I'll say connectivity, that's the second one. One other non-negotiable for me is whether the platform is future ready or not. And the reason is because you would like to have tools that will grow with your business, that will scale. If we don't see this kind of projects, especially AI, as something holistic, then, I mean, it's not going to work at all. You need to have a platform that is going to be growing with your business. Otherwise, you're not going to have a good strategy on artificial intelligence, and it's not going to help. That goes back to where some of the projects get stalled. It's because they don't have a clear indication. They don't have the clear tools that can help them to enable all things AI for the future.
Got it. Yeah, no, I think just for folks on this call, I think, look, a lot of organizations are, there's a mandate to become an AI company and to sort of accelerate, through that. And I'd love to maybe just open it up to both of you as we start to think about, we're building this for AI. What are some of the guardrails or things that, folks on this call should be thinking about to activate, AI across their organization? What are some learnings that you've heard from customers that you think, would be helpful, or best practices that we can share and pass on to this team here? And Ronen, maybe I'll ask you, because it's top of mind. I know you talk to a lot of our customers and give them a lot of guidance in terms of, hey, we got to become an AI company. What does that kind of look like in the next, quarter to 6 months to a year? Any advice or best practices for the group here?
Yeah, so I'll say two things. One is maybe self-explanatory here, but first of all, think about connecting everything, right? So it's not just business applications; it's all the data sources. It's about managing APIs. It's about managing EDI. It's about moving large amounts of data, ETL capabilities. This is all one problem, right? So that's kind of one thing. The second thing I want to say is that not everything needs to be AI. And this is kind of an interesting thing to say on an AI kind of webinar, but very often I talk to customers who are really looking for automation, but are using the language of AI. And AI is not appropriate for everything. And that's kind of really important to understand. I call this the principle of least agency, where you don't need to have kind of AI that's fully agentic. Don't do it. Like AI is a great technology, but it does have issues with cost, with latency, with hallucinations, right? And so wherever you can use kind of deterministic processes to automate things, that's probably a better choice. It's going to be less expensive, it's going to be more accurate, and it's going to be faster. So think about this whole issue of AI and automation is one unit of connecting everything to everything in the best possible strategy, right? So AI where it's needed, automation where it's needed, and kind of bring these all together, I think is the key here. So.
Love that. Isidro, anything to add?
Yeah, I've seen this, and brought me back to one of our conversations that I was having with a customer. They wanted to do something with AI. They wanted to connect an LLM for something that was going to be easier just to do traditional automation. I was like, well, if we put a workflow like if then else, that's it. You're going to get the same result. So as Ronen was saying, exactly. and so I think that people need to understand what's the difference, right, between traditional automation and AI. What are the capabilities of any of those? What are the outputs that you're gonna receive? And also on the long run, I mean, you will like that some of the areas where AI is going to be implemented are operationally repetitive, pattern-based, for example. At the beginning, maybe you're going to start with low financial risk. You're going to throw in there a little bit of human in the loop, right? So that you don't basically let the AI take all of the decisions, because one thing is true. AI is going to help us with a lot of those decision taking. Is going to suggest a lot of those decisions for us, but it's still the ones that are going to be responsible for those decisions is us, right, at the end. And so it is very important to have that kind of accountability within internal teams and the companies themselves, so that they can have a good strategy, a good implementation, and that they choose a solution that, as Ronen was saying, you can have not only your ERP data, you can have your EDI, your MES, everything connected, APIs, etc., so that you can be more self-sufficient as a company, and that you have warnings, promptings, etc., whatever you need to in order to perform so much better than what we do as of now.